So friends, today we'll be talking about the topic of urine formation. So let us begin with the topic. So here we go with the topic of urine formation. So which steps are involved in the formation of urine? Let us understand that. Basically, three different steps are involved. 1, 2 and 3. Three different steps are involved, among which the first step is known as ultrafiltration. It is known as ultrafiltration. This generally involves the the filtration of blood in a structure called Malpighian body or Malpighian corpuscle. So the first step is ultrafiltration. Second step is known as selective reabsorption. The third step is known as tubular secretion. In this step, just the structure which is involved is Malpighian corpuscle or glomerulus. So you can say that here the structure which is involved is glomerulus. Over here, the structures which are involved is known as renal tubules. So we know that PCT, Henle's loop, DCT, collecting ducts, all these structures are involved in the tubular secretion. So I'll just write over here, the structure that is involved is renal tubules. So as we go with the structure of nephron, let us understand which structures are involved in which processes. So let us say that this is a Bowman's capsule. From here arises the PCT. Second structure is known as the Henle's loop. The third structure we draw very close to the glomerulus is known as DCT, and here is the collecting duct. So this is ideally the structure of a nephron. Now what happens here is this is afferent renal arteriole forming a tuft of capillaries inside this structure, and it is known as glomerulus. The capillary that comes out is known as efferent renal arteriole over here. So this one is having a broader diameter, it is entering inside, and from here it is coming outside as an efferent renal arteriole that is forming a loop over the structures. It is this way. So this is now the blood capillaries having a filtered blood. Important point we are discussing right now, so you have to be attentive. Okay. So we know that. Let us first label the structure of nephron. This is PCT. This is what we call it as Henle's loop. This is what you call it as DCT, and this is what you this is what you call it as DCT, and this is what you call it as the collecting duct. Now you can see this red capillaries which are surrounding the PCT and DCT. That is what I am talking about, these capillaries right now, this much. So this capillary is known as peritubular capillaries. Peritubular capillaries. So I'll write over here, these are known as peritubular capillaries. Whereas when you talk about the capillary that is surrounding the Henle's loop, मतलब this one, ये Henle's loop है, इसके surrounding में whatever capillaries are present surrounding to this, I am talking about these all capillaries. These are known as vasa recta. It is known as vasa recta. So you need to remember the capillaries in two different forms. The one which surrounds the PCT and DCT are known as peritubular capillaries, whereas the one which surrounds around the Henle's loop are known as the vasa recta. Now, let us see where which structure is located. Just an overview. Okay, so this whole structure is located in the cortex part, whereas this structure is located in the medulla. And here is the portion, this portion, that is what we are talking about, this and this as Malpighian body, or alone single this we'll call it as glomerulus, and this is what you are going to call it as Bowman's capsule. So these two structures are involved in ultrafiltration, whereas the rest PCT, that is this structure, Henle's loop DCT and collecting duct are involved in the selective reabsorption and tubular secretion. So now let us start with the first process that is known as ultrafiltration. So let us begin with the topic. So the first topic of this urine formation is ultrafiltration. So right now we are going to start with the ultrafiltration. So let us begin with the first topic. We call it as ultrafiltration. As we see the word ultrafiltration, the superfiltration is taking place over here. As we go with the ultrafiltration process, first of all we need to understand what is filtered over here, how it is filtered, which membrane is involved over here. So let us first understand over here filtration membrane. The membrane which is involved in this process is known as filtration membrane. So what is our filtration membrane? We know that this is a cup-shaped structure and we call it as Bowman's capsule. Here it is. So this is the Bowman's capsule. The artery that is entering inside, we'll draw it over here with a broader diameter, is known as efferent renal arteriole, and the one which is coming out is known as efferent renal arteriole. Here we go with this diagram. Now, what is this filtration membrane? The filtration membrane is ideally something like diffusion membrane that is present in the lungs. So filtration membrane is composed of mainly three different layers. The first layer is this. So this is the first layer. We call it as endothelium of blood capillary. Endothelium of blood capillary. And we also know that it is made up of squamous epithelium. That is a flat pavement epithelium derived from endoderm. So it is known as endothelium. So this is the first. The second is the very thin structure between them, and that is called as the basement membrane. So in between these two structures, if you talk about this endothelium, the red colored structure and this blue colored structure, there is one more layer present, and that is what we call it as basement membrane. So let us label over here. What is this, beta? This is a basement membrane. What is basement membrane? Basement membrane is separating the glomerulus from the Bowman's capsule. Now, the third layer. The third layer is the wall of Bowman's capsule. Here we go with this. So this is the inner wall of, we will write here it as Bowman's capsule. And we also know that this third layer is having certain cells called food cells, or we call it as podocytes, right? So these have podocytes, which we call it as food cells, having a gap between them, and that's what you call it as filtration slits. So this is basically the filtration membrane comprising of three different walls or three different layers. So the first is endothelium of blood capillary, second is the basement membrane separating the two structures, and the third is the wall of Bowman's capsule. But which wall is involved over here? The inner wall is involved over here. Now, we still have one more question, that why there is a difference of diameter between the afferent and the efferent renal arteriole. So, as we have seen that this is a afferent renal arteriole, whereas the another one you can see on this side is known as efferent renal arteriole, and this whole structure is known as the glomerulus. So here we write it as glomerulus. And the next structure below that is this. It is the lumen of Bowman's capsule. Now, why is there is a difference between the afferent and efferent renal arteriole diameter, which is assisting, which is helping out for the filtration? Because we know that if something is broad, the flow would be easy. If something is narrow, the flow would be restricted, because there is a difference of pressure gradient. So that is ultimately creating a pressure gradient which helps in the filtration process. So here I'll put one point: difference of diameter of afferent and efferent renal arteriole. Efferent renal arteriole creates a pressure gradient. Pressure gradient, that which helps in filtration process. So basically this is a basic part of which membrane is involved in the filtration process, and secondly, like why there is a difference between the diameter of afferent and the efferent renal arteriole. As we know that if the diameter is broader, I am repeating this again, the flow would be easy. If the diameter is narrow, the flow would be restricted. So we can say that there would be a difference of pressure gradient that will help in a better filtration. Now, till now we have seen the structures that are involved in the ultrafiltration process. Now we start with the process of ultrafiltration. So let us begin with the process of ultrafiltration. So here we go with the process of ultrafiltration. Prior to understanding this process, you need to remember some few numbers for that. And so if we say कि किडनी में ब्लड फिल्टर होता है, तो कितना ब्लड किडनी में जाता होगा? अब our heart pumps 5,000 ml of blood per minute. We know that it is a cardiac output. So let us understand that sequence first of all. So the cardiac output is 5,000 ml per minute, right? From this, almost 20 to 25% of blood is entering into our kidneys. So how much is that? From this, the amount of blood that is entering into kidney for filtration is how much? That is something around 1100 to 1200 ml per minute. So this much amount of blood is entering into kidney for filtration process per minute. Then the second batch of 11 to 12, then the third batch of 11. So it is entering into a batch wise process. So from 5,000 ml of blood pumped by the heart, the kidney gains 1100 to 1200 ml of blood. Is blood fully filtered in that? Not really. From here, the 55% of the blood that is composed of blood, the plasma is entering over here. So from here, how much plasma enters? So this is what we have talked about the blood. So this much is the amount of blood, I'll write here. Then this much is also the amount of blood. But exactly when you see the blood, matlab what? Only the plasma is exactly getting filtered. The cells are not getting filtered. So here, how much plasma is entering? We will call it as renal plasma flow. We'll call it as renal plasma flow. So from this, 55% will enter. And that 55% is something around 650 ml. How much it is? Sorry, it is 650 ml. So if it is asked how much amount of blood is entering into kidney for filtration, then you need to remember that is 1100 to 1200 ml. But if they are asking how much amount of plasma is getting filtered, then it's about the blood, that includes the cell, but actually we are going to talk only about plasma, that is 650 ml. So that is what you call it as renal plasma flow. From this much amount of plasma per minute entering into the glomerulus, how much filtrate is formed? Filtrate means what? ब्लड फिल्टर हो जाता है, फिर बाकी की जो चीजें जो ग्लोमेरुलस से निकल के, फिल्ट्रेशन स्लिट से निकल के लुमेन्स ऑफ बॉमिन्स कैप्सूल में जो आती है उसे हम कहते हैं फिल्ट्रेट. सो नेक्स्ट इसमें से बनता है फिल्ट्रेट. तो फिल्ट्रेट कितना निकलेगा? इट विल बी कमिंग आउट एज 125 ml per minute. So this is called as glomerular filtration rate. This particular structure is known as GFR, that is glomerular filtration rate. And how will you define that? The amount of filtrate formed by kidneys per minute is known as glomerular filtration rate. हमारी किडनी एक मिनट में कितना फिल्ट्रेट बनाती है या कितना ब्लड फिल्टर होके कितना फिल्ट्रेट निकलता है, that is what you call it as glomerular filtration rate. So let us define GFR. What is GFR? The amount of filtrate formed in kidney per minute, formed in or by kidney per minute is known as its filtration rate. Its filtration rate किसका filtration rate? Glomerulus का filtration rate. तो इसे ये कहा जाता है. अब हम स्टडी करते हैं कि कैसे होता है, ये प्रोसेस कैसे होता है. तो एक छोटा सा डायग्राम से हम अंडरस्टैंड करते हैं. Let us say that I'll draw once again this diagram. Let us say that this is the Bowman's capsule. As I have told you that something is entering inside with a broader diameter, we call it as afferent renal arteriole. Something is going outside with a narrow diameter, which is known as efferent renal arteriole. So this is what you know. This is what the structure is known as. The structure is called as Malpighian body. Now what happens from here? The blood enters. How much amount of blood is entering over here? The amount of blood that is entering is 1100 to 1200 ml. So I write 1100 to 1200 ml of blood is entering per minute. I would say like this. So this much amount of blood is entering, and here it is getting filtered. So if it is getting filtered over here, how much amount of filtrate is formed? The amount of filtrate that is formed from here is 125 ml per minute. So this is known as GFR, that is known as glomerular filtration rate. I repeat once again, 1100 to 1200 ml blood is entering into the glomerulus per minute, that is through the afferent renal arteriole. And from here, how much filtrate is formed? आइडियली कितना कचरा निकलता है हम ऐसे बोल सकते हैं, it is 125 ml per minute. So this is what you call it as GFR. फिर बाद में जैसे ही the filtration is over, once as the filtration is done, you can say that the blood leaves from the efferent renal arteriole. So blood is leaving from the efferent renal arteriole. And so we have seen that the blood comes out from here, that is filtered. Now let us understand the concept of filtration fraction. Filtration fraction is the ratio of GFR upon RPF. Now what is RPF? RPF is this, renal plasma flow. तो हम अगर देखते हैं कि when the blood is entering into the kidney, is the blood getting filtered fully? Not exactly. Only the plasma is undergoing the filtration process, leaving the blood cells unfiltered. So kidney never filters the blood cells. So only plasma is getting filtered ideally. So what is the GFR? GFR we have taken is how much? 125 ml per minute. What is the renal plasma flow? That is 650 ml per minute. So here we gain the renal plasma fraction as 1/5. So fifth amount of plasma में से सिर्फ उसका 1/5 portion उसका हम कहते हैं कि filtration fraction होता है. So the filtration fraction is the ratio of GFR upon RPF. Now let us define filtrate. जो यहाँ पे lumens में आया है, lumen of Bowman's capsule में आया है. So that is what you call it as filtrate. So let us define a filtrate. So we know that the plasma has entered into the glomerulus for the filtration process और हमने उसी को consider किया. तो अगर हम कहें कि filtrate क्या बना, यहाँ पे जो आया है वो filtrate है. तो filtrate क्या है? Filtrate is plasma minus proteins. So large size proteins are not filtered. So what is filtrate? Filtrate मतलब blood में से निकला हुआ कचरा किस चीज का बना हुआ होगा? वो प्लाज्मा के जैसा ही होगा, except it is leaving the proteins again in the blood only. So it is composed of plasma minus proteins. Remember this, it is important. So this is about the filtrate. As we have seen the ultrafiltration process till now, now we will see that which pressures are involved in this ultrafiltration process. Like which are the different pressure which is helping out, which is aiding this ultrafiltration process. So let us talk about those pressures involved in the ultrafiltration process. You may encounter different MCQs, especially in the book doctorally on the basis of this topic. So kindly pay attention. So let us talk about the pressures involved in the process of ultrafiltration. So which are the different pressures involved? So let us again draw the same diagram, and here we go with the diagram. This is the Bowman's capsule. This is what you call it as efferent renal arteriole. Leaving out is efferent renal arteriole, and inside is this glomerulus. Now we all know, we have studied in the previous topic that the blood is entering from here and the blood leaves from here. So I'll just write it in a short. This is the efferent one, that is the efferent renal arteriole, and this is the efferent renal arteriole. And what is the structure? This structure is the glomerulus, and this is known as the Bowman's capsule. Now overall, 3 different pressures are involved in the filtration process. So the first pressure is known as GHP. What do you mean by GHP? GHP, the full form is glomerular hydrostatic pressure. Glomerular hydrostatic pressure. What does this mean? This is the pressure exerted by the glomerulus because of the difference between the afferent and the efferent renal arteriole. I repeat again. What is GHP? GHP, the full form is glomerular hydrostatic pressure. So it is the pressure exerted on the glomerulus because of the difference of afferent and the efferent renal arteriole. So this is because of this pressure is because of the difference between the afferent and the efferent renal arteriole, and that is something around 75 or 60 mmHg. So that is something around 70 or 60 mmHg. So this is the first pressure involved. So because of the difference of afferent and the efferent renal arteriole, the pressure is exerted over here, and that is what you call it as GHP, that is the glomerular hydrostatic pressure. Now, the second pressure that is involved is known as BCOP. BCOP is blood colloidal osmotic pressure. Now what is this? This is the pressure which is exerted by the colloids present in the blood. Now which are the colloids? We know that there are proteins like albumin. We have already learned this in the chapter of body fluids and circulation, that there are proteins present in the blood which are known as albumin, and these albumin are the colloidal particles which are present in the blood. So this, when suppose that the blood is entering over here, let's say blood is entering here, so these two difference is creating GHP. So GHP will be in this direction, but the BCOP, that is the blood colloidal osmotic pressure, will be exerted in the opposite direction, because ब्लड के जो कोलॉइड्स होते हैं वो ट्राई करेंगे कि वो फिल्टर ना करें, क्योंकि वो यहाँ पे आके फिर वापस जाएंगे, तो वो क्या करेंगे, इस ब्लड फिल्ट्रेशन को रेजिस्ट करेंगे, वो ब्लड फिल्ट्रेशन को रेजिस्ट करेंगे, मतलब अपोज करेंगे. सो जो ब्लड कोलॉइडल ऑस्मोटिक प्रेशर है, that will be in the opposite direction. I'm just mentioning over here, that will be in the opposite direction to GHP, क्योंकि वो कोलॉइड्स होते हैं, वो फिल्ट्रेशन रेजिस्ट करते हैं. तो जस्ट पुट आउट one more point, that is because of the colloids of blood, and that is like albumin protein. And what is it? It resists filtration. It resists filtration. Or the amount of this is something around 30 to 32 mmHg. So it is something around 30 to 32 mmHg. So this much is the blood colloidal osmotic pressure. Remember that it resists filtration. This is important. It resists. क्योंकि अगर GHP इस डायरेक्शन में जा रहा है तो BCOP इस डायरेक्शन में जाएगा. That is in the opposite direction. That is BCOP. I'll write in a better way. This is GHP and this is BCOP. Third pressure, which is involved over here. The third pressure that is involved over here, that is what you call it as CHP, that is capsular hydrostatic pressure. CHP, that is capsular hydrostatic pressure. ये कौन एक्सर्ट करता है? ये एक्सर्ट करेगा वॉल ऑफ बॉमेन्स कैप्सूल. जैसे यहाँ पे फिल्ट्रेट आएगा तो फिल्ट्रेट यहाँ से लग के वापस ऐसे जाएगा, तो ये जो बैक फ्लो हो रहा है, फिल्ट्रेट वापस ऊपर जाने की जो कोशिश कर रहा है, जिसकी वजह से कैप्सुलर हाइड्रोस्टैटिक प्रेशर हो रहा है. तो अगेन अगर हम CHP लिखेंगे तो CHP का डायरेक्शन भी ऐसे ही आएगा. तो GHP विल बी इन दिस डायरेक्शन it will let the filtration occur, whereas there are two forces or two pressure which will resist filtration. और वो दो प्रेशर कौन से हुए? वन इज BCOP जो कोलॉइड्स एक्सर्ट करता है, और दूसरा है कैप्सुलर हाइड्रोस्टैटिक प्रेशर जो बोमेन्स कैप्सूल की वॉल होती है वो एक्सर्ट करती है. सो दिस इज बाय द वॉल ऑफ बोमेन्स कैप्सूल. ये भी क्या करता है? इट ऑल्सो रेजिस्ट filtration. It is something around 10 to 18 mm Hg. So this is the pressure that is helping the filtration, and these two pressure are opposing the filtration process. Now, so let us write about the net filtration pressure. That is also called as NFP. NFP, which is equal to GHP, that is this first one which is in the positive direction, minus this two. So minus that comes around BCOP plus CHP. I repeat again, this one is in this direction, this two is in the opposite direction, so we will take addition of this two, subtracting it from the GHP. So let us put the values now, that is 75 or 60 minus, we'll say, how much we are taking? This is BCOP 30 to 32 plus what we are taking over here is 10 to 18 mmHg, and this is something we will get around is 10 to 25. Putting all calculating all these things, we'll get it something around 10 to 25 mmHg. So this is exactly the filtration pressure. What is how much is the filtration pressure? मतलब कितने प्रेशर से हमारी किडनी में फिल्ट्रेशन अल्ट्रा फिल्ट्रेशन प्रोसेस हो रहा है. So that is 10 to 25 mmHg. So this is all about the ultrafiltration process.